being beat up in prison, one of the victims is suing him and Taylor for secretly videotaping her changing clothes and bathing.
Wow.
And that happened today. Did any of you know that?
I didn't hear about it, but let me tell you something.
It's in the news today, yeah.
That case is going to obviously be very easy to prove in a court of law. I don't know why those victims are not suing him left and right. This guy's worth $15 million. And once he pled guilty, once you plead guilty to the charges, the only thing to discuss is how much money you're going to pay the victim. That's the only thing the jury has to hear. You've already pled guilty.
For $300,000. That's it.
Well, I think they should have asked for $15 million each.
Yeah.
That sounds like not sufficient amount, depending on how serious the violation was.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, you were talking, Alex, about how, prisoners have one code, from what I understand, is that you don't mess with children. And, you can kill anybody, your wife or your grandmother, but not your child. And here you have someone like Foggle, who is, by the way, is that considered a violent crime or not?
Oh, yes. Sexual assault, you mean?
Yes. Is that a violent crime?
Yes. Yeah, the crimes committed by Foggle are considered violent crimes. Yeah, any sexual assault is considered a violent crime.
Okay. I didn't know that. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I didn't know it was considered violent. I thought violent was like if you had a gun or something.
No.
But I think he's getting what he deserves. I'm sorry. Because he sexually molested all these kids, and on top of that, he was making money left and right.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think anybody. I don't advocate. Well, I knew he was going to get it coming. I knew he was going to get beat up, but I don't advocate that. I really don't. I'm not interested in promoting violence against people in jail. But the reality is that when you commit some very serious crimes and you put yourself in a jail environment because of those crimes, your number's going to come up. Right. But I'm not going to go around saying, I'm glad he got beat up, and I hope it happens to him again, because then we descend into a jungle of a society, and I don't want to live like that.
Well, shame on me, Alex. Shame on me, but and I wanted to ask Joseph, I don't know if you know if this is any of your expertise, but since you're in the science world, do you think that when he comes out, he's more likely to repeat what he has done, like a lot of them do? Sexually abusing children?
Just based on what my study has revealed, and again, I'm not a true behaviorist, but I concur with a lot of people that study sex offenders, violent sex offenders, right, and particularly those that are engaged in pedophilia. I think that they are incurable. I think that it is not something that someone changes from. I think that it is, I don't think that people just stop.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that, he's potentially a danger. If he gets out and he is, from a testosterone level, if he is still capable of having male sexual urges at that point in time, I think that he would be dangerous. If I had family members or little ones, I wouldn't want to be
near
in
him,
proximity of him at all.
And how long of a sentence did he get? Do you guys know?
15 years. Didn't he get 12
to
15 years?
They played it
like
down
that?
to 15, I think. I think it was 15 now.
So, Alex, why, if this is a violent felony, did he just get 15 years? Is it because no one died?
You know what? You're asking a very, very good question, because that's the exact same question I asked when I had done a show on TV.
I heard
this guy,
get out in 10. Because
this guy,
committed.
This guy committed a lot of offenses against numerous victims. It's absolutely amazing to me. He's not doing like 50 years in jail.
Exactly, and they're ruined for life, those kids.
Well, hopefully they'll get therapy, and hopefully they'll get treatment, and
get a lot of money too.
They'll be able to,
I mean, let's call it for what it is. The money will help. Whether you're sexually abused or not, everybody needs money. That's just life.
And
you know what about?
Wondering if a lot of the victims have not come out because they're kids and the names. Maybe the parents don't want their names to come out. I don't know. Because
there's some people feel shame. Some people don't want their kids to have to go to court.
Exactly.
Some people are hoping that they're going to resolve the problem themselves. They're getting private therapy.
That's what Stacey
Some people believe, they don't want them to relive the episode. And I know that happens.
Right, and let's face it.
It's amazing with all these teachers that are getting arrested. I mean, you probably find more teachers than you do, people like Jared Foogle. I mean, if you did a study, sure you would find more.
I'm finding, I don't know about you, but it seems to me that all the stories that I'm reading on the Internet about teachers having sex with students, most of the teachers are female teachers.
Yes.
And the students are male.
Not all of them.
No, but a lot.
Not all. But an awful lot of them are.
The students are only like maybe five years younger. And so, looking at it from a 17-year-old with raging hormones, that's like a big score, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. I've been saying on this show and other shows, I think it's overkill to go after these women that are having sex with people that are 17-year-old. That guy probably had sex 100 times. He's the big hero in his school. And what is the big psychological damage? You're not supposed to say this, by the way. The current thinking out there is you're supposed to go along with the program that a 17-year-old having sex with a 21-year-old, that's going to cause horrible, devastating, long-term damage. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't buy into that. I'm not getting on that train. I don't believe it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Barry.
When I was younger, when I was young, I was 16 and I dated a 19-year-old, which would have been, it would have been, well, actually, we didn't have sex.
No, keep it clean, Mary. Keep it clean.
No, I mean, listen. I agree with you because the idea that a teacher.
But anyway, I'll let you guys go. It was great talking with all three of you.
All right, Mary.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
So what were you going to say, Joe?
I was going to say, this idea that Jared Fogel's activities are comparable to a 17-year-old young man in high school, or hey, they could be 18 years old and still be in high school, and they're going to be in violation of state law if a 23-year-old teacher has sex with an 18-year-old that's still in school because they're considered to be custodial over that child. Is that correct, Alex?
I think you're absolutely right about that.
That's not the same as the behavior that Jared Foogle is engaging in. And I know that Alex has probably represented people in statutory rape charges where you've got these folks that are, there's a 4-year age discrepancy, and then the young man that's charged in that event winds up having the label hung on around their neck that they are a sexual predator. they're on the registered sex offender list, along with people like Jared Foogle, who are going after these 8-year-old children and 7-year-old children and making child porn, and they're equated to these and the two things are not the same.
Yeah, they're very, very different, and forcible rape is one thing.
Right.
A forcible having sex with children, forcing that is something completely different. That's awful. But as Joe said, and as I've been saying, the pendulum has swung really in a very distorted direction. When you're seeing, like I said, young women that are 23 years old, and God forbid they're having a relationship. Now, they shouldn't have a relationship with a student in their class, true, and maybe they're violating some code, but to start branding them sex offenders. And then there's a lot of people, the parents of the students, they're seeing money. They're seeing dollar signs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we could sue the district. We're going to get some money, and we're going to, because my son has been devastated. Nonsense. They're not devastated. They're not devastated. I'm not buying into that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I'm just not buying into it.
Well, if you were in the situation, you probably wouldn't sue, right? Of somebody's kids with these beautiful women.
No. I wouldn't sue. I don't have a son, but if my son ended up if he was 18 years old and ended up in the awful predicament that he was involved in a sexual relationship with a 21-year-old, I don't think I'd go crazy over that,
Yeah, on that one, I think I'd spare him.
Hey, come on. Let's get real.
We have Joseph Scott Morgan's book, Blood Beneath My Feet. That's your journey, Southern Death Investigation. Tell us about that book, Joseph.
That's my memoir. It came out a few years ago. I was named the 2013 Georgia Author of the Year, and has been an interesting journey since writing that book. And it's a story of my life as a death investigator here in the South, and not your typical read. It's not a complete gore fest. It talks about having to deal with death and the people that investigate death day in and day out, and the price that you pay for that. So it's been attached for television development, and we're still, like everything else with Hollywood, it's hurry up and wait. And, we got good news yesterday. The third season of How Not to Kill Your Lover is being filmed. I'll be heading out to London. They've asked me to come back and be on their forensics guy for that show again, and that'll be coming up on ID channel and on CI over in Europe. They don't have the ID channel there. It's owned by the same people, but there it's called CI instead of ID, and it's for criminal investigation. So very excited about that.
Wow.
Okay.
So you go out to...
So when is this?
Hey, Joe.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, you said you're going out to England?
Yes.
Right. Have you ever, by any chance, when you've been out there, taken a tour or have been asked to comment on the greatest crime of all time, the Jack the Ripper crimes?
I have not. I know two forensic pathologists, the late, great Dr. William Eckert, who Quincy was loosely based upon. He did a whole series of studies in regards to it, and it's always been something I've been at least peripherally fascinated by, and I follow it. I have a guilty pleasure of reading about it and following it, but I don't really I don't have enough information to call forth on any extended period of time about it.
Because it'd be interesting, instead of all the English forensic scientists, giving their opinion, bringing in an American scientist like yourself to give a different perspective on that. Although I believe the latest evidence has finally determined who Jack the Ripper actually was, and that's based on DNA evidence. And they determined that it was this Polish guy, a madman.
Yeah. I found that quite fascinating. He's a Polish gentleman, I believe, by